And we're live. Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to the Mojo Show, your real estate podcast where we talk about everything real estate. I'm your host, Joe Mortgage.
And I'm Cup of Joe Mortgage.
This week's episode, we are starting a brand new series dedicated to growing your business and building your brand using social media. Whether you're a realtor, loan officer, or any other business that uses social media, to help drive potential customers to your business, you're going to want to stay tuned for this one. A lot of great information to be able to dive into with this in this series. But before we get to that, of course, a little coffee talk with the Joes. Joe, I understand we got a special event coming up soon here.
We do. This week is jam-packed, starting today, tomorrow through Sunday, because this guy here. And I hope and pray that all of his friends, and I'm going to have to do a little clip on this and put it out there.
Some good blackmail stuff I see coming.
This was probably in 2008, 9, maybe 9 or 10. And then we go to this.
Well, there we have it. Yes.
This was our trip to Aruba that he was, I think, an 8th grader, 7th grader.
Okay.
And this was on Sunday with his grandma. I know grandma's eyes are shut, but that's okay. He is graduating from high school on Sunday, and I'm very proud of him. I know you and I have talked about him multiple times. I can't express I can't talk. I can't express the excitement I have for him and see him in his future. He has been growing. He's gone through a lot lately, and I'm just proud of him. And congratulations, Hunter, on getting to graduation. And I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
That is
sorry, I got a little emotional there, Joe, but
all good, Joe. And I think if we ever do a series on being a parent, especially a father, you're just going to take over the whole show at that point.
Dude, you're the same way. Your daughter is awesome. Your son, you got a lot of things to be proud of for your family. But this is a special one. But I'm nervous because he's not going to be in the house with me all the time anymore. So
I'm sure he'll make it home when he can for some good home cooked dinners and do laundry and all that stuff.
Very true. That's enough about us. I know today we have a big show today that is going to really bring things home to what social media can do for you and your business. We want this to be an interactive show. Well, before Joe brings on our speaker, please make comments, ask questions. Our guest speaker wants to answer these. So if you're listening, please help us out by asking more questions. But I can't wait to bring her on, and I know Joe's going to do a great introduction for her.
Well, I am super excited about our special guest, not just our speaker, but our special guest who we have coming on. Been wanting to have her on for some time. I mean, her knowledge and social media is very detailed and in-depth. So can't wait to pick her brain on a number of items regarding social media and building your brand. She's very well-versed, a very well-versed residential mortgage broker with our very own NXT Mortgage. Winner of the NXT Rising Star and Influencer Awards, both. Please welcome to the show, Taylor Alvarado, everyone. Welcome to the show, Taylor.
Thanks, fellas.
Well, Taylor, tell our viewers, before we kind of get into the show, tell our viewers a little bit more just about you and about your business if you want to, so that way they know what you're talking about.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Joe and Joe. Papa Joe, as we call him.
I knew that was going to come out. I didn't even think of not telling you to say it. So.
Oh, my bad.
No, I am good.
It's too late. It's out.
I'm good with it. As you can tell in our coffee talk, being a papa and being a dad, I'm excited about all of that. So
as you were choking up over Hunter, I was like, "Oh, Papa, he's such a dad."
I am.
Well, I'm Taylor. My background before I was in mortgages, I was actually a wedding photographer. So I did that for a number of years, and then met a woman who owns she was a local lender. We met, we talked. She was like, you should get your license, like very randomly, but it was a way for me to translate. I was kind of getting burnt out on photography. And I wasn't really looking for anything, but we had this great conversation, and the way that I serve clients within like the wedding industry, I think easily translates into mortgages, because it's a huge step, huge decision, a huge life event. And I just loved walking people through that on the wedding side. So I feel like the way that I serve people and the way that I show up it just translated very well. So that was really cool. And then I ended up working and being a hybrid like loan officer team lead for a large retail lender, running a branch there until about 4 years ago, when I basically hired myself at NXT.
Yeah, I've heard that story.
And Tyler and I was like, can I just work for you? But mostly because I just believe so much in the broker model and how much more efficient the client experience is better. Like that was also important to me.
Right.
So that is how I ended up with NXT.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and the stories that I've got about you are wonderful. But as a loan originator, you are a true professional. So really love being able to help support you and work with you. So we're happy to have you on today. Today, we're kind of going through a series of social media and different things about social media, how to help people in business and how they can use social media to help their own business. So one of the things that I have questions on is when you're going on to do a post or do something, there's always these things where you try to be perfect and you want everything to look perfect and stuff like that. What is kind of your thoughts when it comes to doing posts or being on social media?
I think that showing up authentically, like I know that's such a buzzword, like be authentic, but like there is only one you. So like show your personality as much as you possibly can. Like I get tagged in things for disco balls more than any human being probably should be. Just because like I've got disco balls all over. I like sparkly things and like you can florals, and I'm just very girly and unapologetically girly. So I did go through like a phase where I was like trying to be very perfect and everything had to be very curated, and I was like but then it almost like paralyzed me if it wasn't perfect. And I just decided one day, like, this is meant to be fun. So I'm just gonna have fun with it and just be the most myself and the most, I don't know, vulnerable or whatever. And that's hard for most people, I think, to be vulnerable, even in real life, let alone showing up on the internet that way. Right.
Right. So how do you, with being authentic, just being yourself, I still struggle with, what I've tried to do on videos, helping real estate agents be able to show a house, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you say to a real estate agent or a mortgage broker in that part? How do they overcome that? Because like you said, you just kind of said, I want to make this fun, but they're trying to be professionals and show this house and things like that. So what are some things that like you would give them guidance on being authentic in those videos? I know I'm going a little bit, but this kind of goes with the same topic. But, what advice would you have in that case? Or even for Joe and I, because I struggle with that still today too.
So the way that I personally make videos is I pretend like I'm talking to my best friend, because I will get like super duper nerd. Like I can talk about mortgages. I know my stuff. But as soon as a video, like a camera is in my face, I'm like, so I almost have to like dissociate that there's something in front of me recording me and just like pretend like I'm talking to my best friend, because I can talk to her about everything and I know my stuff. So I just have to like almost go into that mental state. The other part of that, so like, let's just say you're a real estate agent and you're wanting to do like a home tour. How would you present that home if your client was standing right next to you? And that, like, you almost have to pretend like there's an invisible person there that you're just talking to like you normally would. So if you're walking, sorry, I'm going to give Martin a little shout out.
There you go.
The other day, and he's like, Tay, can you look at this and give me feedback? I watched it and I was like, do you want me to be honest? Because he is the sweetest guy. He knows his stuff. He's just an amazing human. But he looked like a dadgum robot in this video. He was like, hello, I'm going to talk to you about mortgages. And so I was like, nope, go re-record it and be yourself. So when he went and re-recorded it, and then second video, he was like so himself. And it wasn't anything different. He didn't say anything different. It was just like his presence was just Martin, not this perfect like, hello, and now I'm going to talk to you about this house. You know what I mean? So
it's kind of like those CE classes we take with the video, fake video people,
like avatar that's talking to you.
Just so everybody knows, Martin is one of our newer loan originators with us. And Taylor, thank you for helping him. But Joe, the video that he did, I saw it too. And it was 1, and he would talk about it. And option 2, and it was just very rigid. So I do agree, Taylor, you did an awesome job on getting him to do it. If you are doing that, I love how you just said, act like the camera is your client that you're showing the house to. One of the other things that I've liked and I've seen is they start breaking it up in those videos where you're not touring the whole house. They'll like stop and do a clip to where it's them showing, and then they'll go to a couple rooms, and then they come back and it's just short video of them talking. And I like that too. But I agree with you. Just kind of drop your shoulders, relax a little bit, and just talk to your best friend. I like that idea.
I think when Taylor, you bringing out as far as being authentic and just relaxing when you hit the record button, it just builds trust, I think. Wouldn't you agree? More trust in those that are viewing it. And that's kind of a big purpose in it. 100%.
So I think that especially like when you show up as yourself and not trying to be perfect, you connect like human to human on just a different level. So like if I'm watching somebody that's hilarious and just themselves, it's like I feel like I'm watching like my friends on the internet, right? So the same goes for you. If you're too perfect, you're not relatable, and people like naturally are like, oh, that's good information, but like there's not really that connection, and you need to be your most self, like your most authentic self, for people to really trust you and know you. And I think that and vulnerable is like a big word that makes it seem like you've got to put your whole life on the line. You don't need to do that. I think it's just more, there is a definite sense of perfection versus vulnerability that creates that human connection, which then builds trust. And that's what you're trying to do whenever you're putting yourself out there like that.
Yeah. We did have a comment. I love our branch and our team. Chris is one of our LOs too. So Chris, thank you for tuning in. But I'm gonna take this emoji of the robot, right? And I think when he posted this, it was when we were talking about doing videos and being yourself. I'm gonna take that as Chris is saying, don't be a robot, because Chris does a lot when it comes to social media and things too. But when you talk about being vulnerable, I'm kind of going to touch on that for just a second. I agree with you. I don't think you have to be vulnerable like me about my kid and starting to kind of get emotional, but being vulnerable about if you make a mistake on that video, own it, have fun with it, make a joke about yourself. That's where I think being more vulnerable, it needs to be understood is it's not about your past and your life all the time. It could be just being vulnerable that you fell down and you make a joke about it and you bring that out, because then it's relatable. Because I mean, heck, Joe, you and I, almost the same age. I'm still giving you a lot more years than I have, but you fall a lot because at your age, that just happens. No, but I'm messing with you, buddy. But being that type of vulnerable is, I agree. It makes a relation with that broker, that real estate agent or whoever, with somebody that might watch that and be like, hey, I like how they were just themselves and, went on and recorrected and got their point across. You'll probably get more people to work with you in that. So.
Well, because you're human. And I have 2 examples as you were talking about that. I thought of 2 things. one, a couple years, well, was it last year, 2 years ago? I don't know. All the years blend together at this point. I hosted a class at the office every quarter, and I brought in a guest, whether it was like Harrison Sharp was one of them. He closed like 72 transactions the year prior as a solo agent, no assistant, just like good processes and systems.
Mm-hmm.
A good turnout for that. Denver McClure was the second one, and he's a real estate investment advisor. And then I had our boy Tyler Hodgson, quarter 3, because he begged me. But we had the whole room set up. This boy speaks on stages, as we know. 0 people showed up. So we took a picture from the back of the room with all the empty chairs, and we were like at the front. We still recorded it and still did our class as we would have. But afterwards, he was like, "Hey, we have 2 options. We can post just us and just say like, hey, we had a great turnout. It was so great. Or we can post a picture from the back of the room that nobody showed up and it was a huge fail." And I was like, back of the room. So he posted that. I think he got probably more, not as many as his tarmac or whatever jet bridge pictures, but he got more engagement and like direct messages from that post that year than I think most everything that he could have posted, like, there's a rate update, right?
Yeah.
Mostly because he looks like he wins at everything, but he also like flops sometimes. And like for him to show up or me to show up and choose to put that out there, that was so much more relatable than like the Tony the Tiger post, like everything's great. So
I actually remember that. And I remember you guys, I remember the post. I remember you guys talking about that. And I think we use that in a bunch of our teachings to everybody else is it doesn't matter what it is. You'll get more engagement because of being authentic about it and being vulnerable to that. And, that kind of leads you to what sets you apart from others is you're willing to open that up about, hey, here's a failure. And, you didn't let it stop you either because you still do those classes and, great job on that. And you've seen a little bit of uptake in some of the attendance and things like that. But I think also in that is you don't always have, Joe, you and I, we have sometimes where we have 0 viewers for a whole show. And right now we have, I'm going to be honest, we have 4 that are watching live right now.
At least from what the counter is saying, I still think it's off. But
you think it's off? You think that's too high or too low?
I think it's too low. Actually, I do
too.
But that's also why we joke about the 2 people that are listening right now.
Yes,
because it's.
And I love how you just said that, and you came out. Oh, Cynthia, we got another comment again. Consistency is key. Cynthia, another great one on our team. I love that we get support by our other teammates. So thank you guys for listening. But going back, I know we have other parts to talk about on this, but you brought up engagement from Tyler, and a lot of people want to know more about how do you track that? How do you look at it? So kind of talk about engagement on this for us.
Oh, I wish I had glasses on right now so I could like totally nerd out. Let me tell you.
Well, there goes the rest of the show, Joe. Sorry.
Hey, everybody. Shh, I'm just kidding.
Teach us, Yoda.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you some technical tips right quick. I know Joe Mortgage is not on Instagram, but he's going to do this on Facebook. So I post mostly on Instagram, but I like to be efficient. I used to say lazy, but I teach social media classes, and one girl was like, "Quit saying lazy. You're just efficient." And I'm like, "Oh, that makes more sense." So on Instagram, I have my account set up as a content creator. So you go into your settings, you switch it from a personal to a business page, but do not make it a business profile because business can only post to Facebook business pages, but a content creator can post from Instagram to your personal page on Facebook. And I just fully believe in just showing up on your personal pages because that's where like your friends, your family, the people that actually know you, like see you.
Right.
I have my Instagram set up as a content creator, and I also have my Facebook personal page set up as a content creator specifically so that I can see the analytics on what I'm posting, when I'm posting, what's getting the most engagement. And then that way I can like kind of be like, oh, these types of posts get more engagement, whether it's like
So talk about that for a second when you're talking about these types of posts, like, can you break it down? Because honestly, I don't know that much about it. So I'm going to ask a lot of elementary questions.
Oh, please
but
do.
When you're talking, so can you see the engagement on each post during this, or how does that kind of work?
So the way that whenever you're diving into it, you're seeing how many impressions that it makes. So that means like eyes that see it, whether it's scrolling or if they go directly to your page. It also shows engagement itself, which is comments, likes, shares, or saves, like if people are saving the content. And then it also shows like if your profile is visited from that or a link was clicked from it. So it'll break it down into, it basically is like big funnel of just, if you're just mindlessly scrolling, how many eyes actually see it, how many people it's actually reached. And then the engagement itself is kind of funnels down to the larger picture, down to who's actually interacting with your post.
Let me ask you then, kind of tailing off of that, as far as content, obviously has got to be crucial in getting the views and everything. How do you approach content that you post? I mean, do you plan it out? Do you schedule? I mean, or how do you go about that?
Okay, so Instagram now has a scheduling feature, or it might not now. I just recently discovered it and probably should utilize it, because then I don't have to like think about it every day. I could just go pre-schedule a bunch of stuff, right? But the way that I plan things, I am so analytical, I guess. I don't know. I call it pillars of content. I have 5. And there's a reason for that, which is super boring, but I will tell you. Because on Instagram, the way that the little tiles are, if you do 5 things, it never touches one another. So if you like are doing every other, I know this sounds ridiculous. It's because of whenever I was a wedding photographer, I never wanted like a bride stacked on top of a bride with flowers. So I would just do 5 of each category so that it was consistent, but also looked a little random. Okay, so that's my OCD coming out. But the way that it translates here is I just choose, like, some people do 7, I do 5 pillars of content, and I just choose. So mine are Mortgage 101, home stuff, professional development, because I read a lot. So I love sharing like books that I'm reading or classes that we go to or classes that I'm teaching. A shout out to like other businesses, real estate agents, a closing that we did. My family. So I'm a mother of 3. My oldest son is 13 and no longer wants to exist in photos. So mostly it's my younger 2 that show up, or anything like if I'm in Louisiana for the weekend and seeing my family. And then behind, this kind of goes along with like professional development or mortgage, but like behind the scenes are working with me and just kind of showing like what I'm doing each day. So like I took a picture of like how I have this all set up. I'll post that to be like, hey, I was on this podcast today, and just tell the story about it. So that's what I do, is like kind of pick the things that I want to talk about consistently. There are some people, so I've got a girlfriend of mine, she does not like to post her kids online. I totally understand. So she's like, I know you post your kids. Like, how do I pick my pillars of content if I don't want to post them? But I'm like, girl, I wake up every Saturday morning to watch your stories, because she like gardens, and she'll just like talk about the plants she's gardening. And I'm like, you don't have to post about your kids, post about the plant. Like, that's relatable. I love watching her stuff. And it's something she's really interested in. So it also is like that connection piece, right? So it doesn't have to be those exact things, but like I would just pick like 5 topics that you love and just play with that. Is how
I love how you just brought that up. And honestly, from all this, the CE classes or the trainings that we've had on social media, I've always questioned, how do I come up with pillars? What is pillars? And, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I don't know what it is. But Cynthia even agrees. She goes, that is a good variety that you have on that. And it just kind of brought to light. I post a lot about my family or powerlifting and things like that, but I don't think of it in the way that you just kind of broke it down. And I love that, because I always try to question, and Joe's always yelled at me about this. I have more content that I could post if I would just do it. But I like how you laid it out, because then I could do it from a standpoint of just those 5 things that I'm very passionate about, and use one of those each day to post about. And I love how you just kind of broke that down. Thank you.
And I think as well, in doing that, it makes it all more, like we were talking in the very beginning, more authentic of you.
Stuff you're really interested in. Like, I could regurgitate I read freaking mortgage guidelines every day, and I think it's fascinating.
Did she say freaking? Live on air?
I didn't say the F word though.
We do.
We have instructions not to drop any F bombs.
We have another comment here from Courtney Torres. She's on our YouTube channel. Thank you for listening.
Social media.
I think Taylor knows who
that's my best friend that I talk to when I'm filming. Not like actually talk to, but that's who I picture. Because, sorry, no offense, Coco, but she doesn't know anything about mortgages. So when I'm trying to explain things, like I would to a client or somebody who we do this all day, every day, right?
Right.
She doesn't do mortgages all day, every day. So when I'm explaining stuff or if I'm filming a video, I just pretend like I'm telling her.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for listening in and
for being here.
And I think we're talking a lot about videos, right? Because as I've heard, I think all of us have heard, video is king, really, right? Compared to just kind of text on the screen, so to speak, like on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, whatever. Video gets a lot more traction, wouldn't you say? Yes?
Yeah, I would say, I think you can always do a mix. I take pictures of everything. I've had a camera attached to my hand since I was like about 5 years old. Before I was a wedding photographer, I shot film like all through middle school, high school. So I like lived in the dark. I just have always photographed everything. I'm like my family's historian. But video to me is so much more. You can show your personality comes through even more, that it's more 3D than a photograph. So I think doing a mix of both, or an infographic, a photo, a carousel post, but video just shows your personality so much more, right? So that can look like a post, that can look like a video message to your potential clients, or walking through the process if you're doing it through BombBomb or Loom or whatever other platforms you use. But I just truly think that it's an additional layer of that human connection, whether it's here live on a podcast, or if it's a post that's going to stay there forever, or if it's just a message to a friend or a client. It's more of a connection than just
more personalized
text.
Mm-hmm. And we are coming. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I know we're getting towards the end, but let me ask one question, because I'm thinking in my head here about this, and I have a realtor friend that I keep trying to get her to do videos, and it's like she's almost there. She'll record one, she'll look at it and be like, nope, delete, right? And how can someone get over that hump in recording themselves on whatever, right, in the backyard with the dog, whatever it is, and actually posting it, hitting that button to post it? I mean, how can we help people get over that hump?
Okay, I'm going to give you the biggest hack of your life. This is how I got started doing video, because I was the same way. I was like, I almost never watch my videos back. I hate editing my own videos because I don't like seeing myself. It's like a whole thing. Everyone feels it. You are not unique. But what I started doing is I would just record myself in one take, like I was leaving a voicemail. So I think like the first video I posted was just it was a mortgage guideline that was a loophole on a very specific investor situation that I had learned that day. And I was like I kept telling myself like, oh, I'm going to do video. And then I would get in my head and I wouldn't do it. So one day, right, like 2 minutes before a team meeting started, I just pulled my phone up and I was like, hey, did you know, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't edit it. I just posted it. Cause I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Like, and it kind of went viral on accident, but, I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like once you just kind of do it, that's how I started. And I had to do every video like that for the first like 10 to 15 videos until I was like, oh, I can play with this more. I can edit it this way. But the first like 10 or 15 videos that I posted ever was literally, I was just like, hey, did you know, blah, 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 blah. Didn't rewatch it, didn't listen to myself. I just posted it. So
Okay.
I think you brought up a good point on that. Is it doesn't? I think everybody gets involved with this. Video has to be this long thing, and it's got to be a very like in depth sometimes. And I think just picking it up, saying one little split like line about whatever you're wanting to talk about, and posting that, doing a bunch of those to get used to it might be the better thing for your real estate agent, Joe, on that. Just pick up your phone, do real quick, hey, whatever, and then post that without editing it, just to get comfortable.
Without even looking at it, without even watching it. Right?
Just don't put it in those real estate groups some of those comments in the real estate groups, man, stay out of those. Just post it on your to your friends and stuff if you want a good kind of feel good or some feel good critique on it. I would rather do that and tell your real estate agent to do that versus putting it in a real estate group right away.
Everyone's got opinions in those groups.
Yes.
I mean, I get nervous too. I know my guidelines. They're always changing, as we know. But I get nervous that other loan officers are going to see me, and I feel like I'm not as good or not as smart as them. So it's like very nerve-wracking to put yourself out there. But if you know like one bit of information and I know that I know my stuff, it still makes me nervous, but if it's helping somebody or if it's building up my library of information that people can go back to and reference, then it's helpful. So that's why I do it.
Well, as usual, we always go over, especially when we have a lot of great content and a special guest that really pours out the knowledge for our listeners as today. So Taylor, thank you so much again for coming on our show today. Really enjoyed having you. Hopefully we can have you on again sometime soon. If any of you would like any help with your social media content and want to get a hold of Taylor for more insights or techniques to maybe help you get through the hump and being able to start posting, videos and great content, you can reach out to her at the link below that we have there. I believe that's your Instagram. Is that correct?
My Instagram handle, a little bit Taylor.
A little bit Taylor, just a little. Thank you again for coming on. Next week, folks, tune in. Next week as we continue this series on using social media to help build your brand, create content that converts, building a community and networking online for your business. Tune in at our usual time, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central, as we hope to have another special guest on. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but we're trying to narrow that down. Hopefully today we will. And thank you everyone for comments, and that's we really do appreciate it very much. So tune in next week. And if you missed part of this show, if you caught the last bit or the first bit and didn't get to see the coffee talk or any other, you can go to our YouTube channel, watch the whole episode at the Mojo Show Real Estate Podcast. And while you're there, be sure and hit the subscribe button because we are on a mission to get to 1,000 subscribers, and every like, comment, and share helps us to reach more home buyers just like you. Before we close things out, any last words or nuggets of advice for our listeners, Joe?
Yes. So when you're reaching out to Taylor, she is also a mortgage broker. If you have questions about buying a house, she would love to help you with that too, not just the social media, but she was there to do everything. And again, Taylor, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you, seriously, for having me. This is really fun.
Great.
I
say that again for us.
I said maybe I should start my own podcast.
What do you think?
I think she should, and we can bring her on, and we can cross network on each other's YouTubes. I like that idea.
That's amazing. Well, I'm Joe Mortgage, and that handsome guy with the beard on is Cup of Joe Mortgage, and we'll see you next week. Mr.